Well, would you look at this? We're back for the second time on a Tuesday to take the finger of power and up those downs, because WWE has just wrapped up the Superstar Spectacle, which, as it turned out, was a nice big salute and a nice smile to India, who was celebrating Republic Day. So given that everybody else sent their congratulations and good cheer, I am going to do it too. Happy Republic Day. And really, if you want the too long didn't read version, it was just kind of a nice show to put the spotlight on and highlight some of WWE's Indian talent. When it was done, I'm like, okay, great. I feel educated. This was okay. But if you need a bit more detail, my name is Simon Miller, and you bet your ass it's time to up those downs for the Superstar Spectacle. And also WWE, stop putting superstar in all your overseas shows. The first thing we saw was Guru Raaj taking on Finn Balor, and it was so nice to see the NXT champion in the Thunderdome. Like, I like the presentation that NXT puts on, but when I saw him here, I was like, man, that Finn, he is such a superstar. WWE, you love that word. And do you want to know the other reason I really enjoyed watching this? Because it was a little bit like observing a developmental match. I don't mean that with any disrespect, I don't mean that in a mean way, but you could just see that Balor was in control here and he was pulling all the strings and Guru was just doing his best to follow his lead. I thought it was truly fascinating and like an insider look into the business. It wasn't that at all, but sometimes I like to be a massive nerd. Otherwise, there's not that much else to say. As already mentioned, WWE could have come out wearing a flag here that just said, hey, we're moving into India soon, and we're going to start NXT India, and if anybody else tries to get in there, we will kick your ass. But again, I bet it was real nice for the people that are on this show. How awesome would it be to come home and go plop and see yourself on the WWE network? I don't know what is wrong with my TV remote. We also gave some Raaj some offense here as he bashed Finn Balor up with a crossbody and some high kicks, and he even tried the most devastating move in all of sports entertainment, the surprise roll-up. But as we soon learned, he does need more experience because he failed. Sadly though, he still walked into the coup de grace and the 1916, and Finn Balor got the 1-2-3. I mean, imagine if he didn't. Imagine the NXT champion got beaten here. I would have run on Twitter and just gone refresh, 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 because everybody would have been going crazy. But yeah, this was fun, it was inoffensive, and it was aight. I'll also point out that throughout the show, we also got a bunch of videos introducing us to some of the wrestlers, but the main one I want to focus on is here, simply because of who was in it. So we had Disha Shanky and Giant Zanjeer, who are these two mammoth 7-foot dudes, and Michael Cole could not believe it. He was just like, they're so tall, they just go up and up and up, they look like buildings. And when he found out that one of them played cricket, oh my gosh, I thought he was going to die. Michael Cole, cricket is just this. You've got a bat and you go, and you hit a ball, you can be like over 7 feet and probably still have a good time on those greens. But it led to these two guys teaming up with Rey Mysterio and Ricochet, because of course WWE really wanted to accentuate their height, who was taking on the most random team of Shinsuke Nakamura, Cesaro, Dolph Ziggler, and Baron Corbin. I mean, where did that come from? But I tell ya, up. Of course, this was mostly focused on Giant Zanjeer because he was the bigger of the two big men, and at one point he even picked Ricochet up and chucked him over the top rope, so he essentially used a human being as a weapon. All the bad guys were trying to beat him up at one point too, and he just threw them off. You know what WWE does. If you are a big jack tool dude, they will do whatever they can to push you to the moon. This is me looking at the moon, even though it's just my ceiling. The finish was really cool too because Mysterio climbed up onto Shanky's shoulders, and honestly, he felt like he was basically in space before he dove off them onto Cesaro and got the 1-2-3. Now, as I've mentioned, these two guys, this is just one little thing I want to talk about quick. So yes, Cesaro took another pinfall, so that 2-week little escape on SmackDown, that's dead in the ass. And also, when the bad guys had to beat somebody up, of course, they all beat up Rey Mysterio. This really made me chuckle, and I understand he's the smallest guy in the match, but Rey Mysterio, who may be one of the greatest professional wrestlers ever, changed the game and is an inspiration to many, even here in his later days of his career, has to be the one to get thrown around. I was laughing and laughing, and I'm also gonna give it a down. Show him some damn respect. I mean, it's literally just like big is good and small is bad. It's not true. AJ Styles was out next, and then I got so excited because like, oh my gosh, who is now gonna try and enter the Royal Rumble? Remember, that's a storyline I made up in my head. He was here with Omos though, and given what we had just seen, I was like, why hasn't he been able to have a match yet? He could easily do what the other two big dudes do, so get this big dude in the ring. We were also told that Styles was going to be facing a proper wrestling champion, before all of a sudden we just cut to the back and we had a promo with Roman Reigns and Paul Heyman. But yeah, Roman, flub me, let it go. I mean, no, I don't mean that. I mean, Roman Reigns, you are the best. I bow down to you. But look, between you and me, even here, who's like, I don't care where you come from. I don't care whether you're from America, away from India. No one sits in my chair and you better put food on my table. Dude, it's not all about you. Anyway, he and Paul Heyman also then did wish everyone Happy Republic Day, but I don't believe Roman meant this, and he was probably just thinking about furniture. The man in question before we did cut away though was none other than Jeet Rama, and if you can believe this, and I still can't fathom that this happened, he defeated AJ Styles clean in the middle of the ring. And if you believe that, you were gullible so-and-so, but I love you. And yes, I know I sound like a broken record, but it was essentially the same again. Here's AJ Styles, super experienced wrestler, just helped less experienced wrestler get through the match and prove to us all that he has the chops. He does. I don't know where we go through all of this. I suppose soon that WWE will set up NXT India, and at least these guys will have somewhat of a platform to jump off. And also, even when Jeet was in the calf crusher for around about 32 years, he was able to get out of it by taking AJ's head and just slamming it into the mat. Looked quite good. They were then both on the top rope when Rama was about to do something, but as he went for said move, Omos held on to AJ Styles. Poor Jeet went flying to the canvas. Styles hit him with the phenomenal forearm. 1, 2, 3, he never saw it coming. This did, however, meant that Jeet got beat. And if I've said it before, I'll say it again. You don't hinder Jinder and you don't beat Jeet. Rinku was here next on the big screen and he said, I'm going to tell you something you already know. I was the first ever professional Indian baseball player, but also there's no better feeling than being a WWE superstar. I was like, wait, what? Are those two things meant to be connected? That's like me going, hey man, how you doing? Someone goes, oh, a potato. I'm like, I don't want to talk to you no more. You're a strange person. And I get what they were doing here. They were trying to say, even though he had ascended to such heights, he still preferred being a wild wrestling entertainer. But honestly, it just sounded so forced. And because I'm like 7 years old, I chuckled again. And then out came Xavier Woods and Big E. And if you opened your earlobes, you could just hear the internet melting down. And I get it too. After the sad breakup they had on SmackDown, it was a little bit ridiculous, but who cares? They weren't in a real match. Kofi Kingston is injured, so he couldn't do it. And besides, they were only here to do introductions along with the Street Profits. Because they were welcoming out Spinning Canvas, who at first I just thought was a dude with his drum. But I tell you, he played that drum real good. I was enjoying it. Then I realized they are a music and dance troupe. But once again, this was very entertaining, and as stupid as it sounds, was my favorite part of the show. I thought it was such a good, ironically, spectacle. I mean, if nothing else, it was better than Flow Rider at WrestleMania. And then the great Khali was here, and he's really proud. That's literally all he said. Following this was Sareena, Sandhu and Charlotte teaming up to take on Bayley and Natalya. And I'm pretty sure all the teams of this evening were just drawn out of her head. I'm gonna guess that we have big plans for Sareena too, because even though she was caught in the sharpshooter at one point, she got the visual pin over Natalya. And although we've talked about a lot of matches already, even when the Indian superstars had been on the winning side, it wasn't them who actually got the victory. So I was like, oh my gosh. I mean, it did come after Charlotte had got in there and hit the natural selection onto Natalya, which then allowed Sareena to get to the pin. But did I see this with my eyes? Yes, I did, and I'm standing by it. But it can have it up. And there wasn't much else to report here. I bet Sareena got some dang good experience being in the ring with these people that do it week in and week out. And also afterwards, she got to do the Flair strut because Charlotte got on a microphone and said, if you don't, I will kill you. I'm guessing we're gonna have that feud. Once again, I'm just pulling all this out my ass. They were so happy, I've never seen people happier. More madness next because Ric Flair just came out to the ring. I think he was there to say hi, so I went, hi Rick, and then realised that that's not how television works. He was also going to be on MC duties with Drew McIntyre and the tag team known as Indus, Sher, who were going to take on the Bollywood Boyz, and none other than returning Jinder Mahal. And I just want to say right now, we planted the seeds, as I'll talk about in 1 second. I want to see Drew McIntyre versus Jinder for the WWE Champion in a retrospective 3MB match. Don't at me up. But yes, Jinder did make his big comeback by interrupting the Nature Boy, which led Drew McIntyre to come out and interrupt him. And the world champion actually said, listen, Jinder Mahal, there's a few things, it didn't sound like that at all, there's a few things that we don't do on Monday Night Raw or on WWE, and that is interrupt Ric Flair. And I was like, there's that Drew McIntyre being all disrespectful to those legends again. Damn you, Goldberg. When the match officially started too, McIntyre did all he possibly could to put over Rinko and Saurabh, who were the tag team of Indus, Sher. But also, these two guys are like heavy sets, dude. they kind of reminded me of the Authors of Pain. They really looked like they could kick your ass. This was just a lot of fun too, because Jinder Mahal knows how to be a heel in the sense he's such a moron, and the Bollywood boys will just bump and bounce around for days. They're kind of like toys. It was Rinku and Saurabh that took over this as well, including hitting this crazy slam onto Sunil when one of them jumped off the top rope and just crushed his neck, which allowed Rinku to get the 1, 2, 3. So again, if you're keeping notes, that's the second person to get a visual pinfall. What you definitely need to take note of too is that Jinder wasn't able to make the save because Drew McIntyre Claymore kicked his head off. So there it is. You can make reference to this on a future episode of Monday Night Raw, probably after WrestleMania, and then we can just get down to it. To finish things off, the Indian talent shared the ring with Triple H. So now, if you are keeping track on the Hunter Hearst Helmsley character, he vanished on Raw a few weeks ago. We don't know why, but he has now returned, whatever the right word would be. He has appeared. He has Star Trek Enterprise teleportation his way into this scenario, and so I hope he's okay, and I don't know where he's gonna go next. This was all a way just to shine a spotlight onto this talent though, and again, I'm pretty sure this was done not only to say Happy Republic Day, and once again we say that here at WhatCulture, but to start the march into India, where WWE will probably try and take over that territory too. But it's a fun show, nice thing to do on a Tuesday afternoon. I'm never gonna say no to that, especially because the WWE Network's about to move to Peacock. I don't think we're going to get much more of these. Now, do not forget to leave a comment below and let us know what you thought about the superstar spectacle. Like the video, share the video, and subscribe. Head over to WhatCulture.com, read yourself some articles, follow WhatCulture on Twitter, WhatCulture WWE. Watch more videos here on WhatCulture Wrestling. My name is Simon WhatCulture. Thank you for joining me for the second time today. And of course, I'll see you tomorrow.